But Duke of Tears goes back to an era, you know, before a lot of the people. So he represent, you know what I'm saying? So he
Hey,
represent
check my record, man. I was talking about all of this stuff when the Moors was just really just building on stuff just being somewhat Islamic. But I always understood that we predate what people understand as the religion of Islam was based on how we as ancient cultures lived. They based all of their religion on off of the understanding on observing how we interacted with
right.
creation.
Cause right,
Therefore, go ahead, Mo.
right. See, he is, you know what I'm saying? He is a Moor. So he, you know, he's all, you know, so he's gonna have his more, you know, his more opinion and his more, you know, he's a
I,
Moor.
I'm dealing with opinion.
Like,
I'm dealing with facts, but
right,
that's the
right,
thing.
right, right.
You
You know what I'm
like
saying?
Moors. I don't like Moors because Moors bring the facts, man. I'm bringing
Right.
the
But
facts.
it seems
I
like
got
some
to see
people can't
in real time. In
handle that.
real time. You understand? The
Right.
not like I said, I got the books. Half the books these guys are talking about, I done laid out on DVDs over the past 20 years, man.
So
Like people be acting one way, but see the thing is, there's a thing with more so than it being Aboriginals and Moors and this and that. What it also is, man, is also respect, yo. There's a lack of respect that so-called blacks, Moors, Aboriginals, RBGs, Egyptians, what else? Whatever the whatever you want to call it, whatever you identify with,
right,
okay?
right.
Whatever you identify with, there's a
Exactly.
lack of respect for how we interact with each other's opinions and the fact that we want to control and we want to castigate other groups that don't identify exactly with how we do, knowing damn well we all in the same boat. We all are dealing with the same devil. We all dealing with the same family issues and all of that. But
Okay.
we want to always try to make it like this one group over the all. My platform is this. You can say what you want and be what you want. I'm not dealing with my opinions on it. I'm been producing factual information to corroborate my platform, which was and is that the so-called Moors or Moorish Americans or the Moorish Empire has been misnomered by thousands of years, for hundreds of years, under various different names and various different peoples, and our people have been made to be against it. And now that it's coming out that there are huge aspects and benefits to it, the people who have been sworn against you dealing with it are now putting things out there to make you be against it. There's no difference between COINTELPRO was initiated by Caucasian people, yes, but it was implemented and is implemented by people that look just like me and you. They are the
Right.
ones keeping it going. So anybody that is promoting ideas that one group is better than the other, or you shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, right, without any direct dialogue or communication or open exchange of ideas where people can actually do that. Because I have actually produced documentation in front of people that was indisputable, and because it came from me, and because I'm a Moor, you see, they not hearing it.
Right.
But the
Right.
cracker, every time that I've gone and demonstrated, has done exactly what he's supposed to do, has not only acknowledged, but has gone out its way to make sure that I get what I needed in the situation without me having to sign over to the man, join no damn order, or compromise myself, my people, my integrity in any type of way. Whenever I hear about these Indians and these people dealing with stuff, they always dealing with how to crack it and just flip them over and all that. So I'm not saying that a piece of paper or anything does anything. What I'm saying is the spirit behind what you do is what makes it happen or not. And the spirit behind a lot of these people is weak and is corrupted. And it's coming out in the information that is being brought, because all it's doing is causing confusion.
sat down and you attacked the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in peace, but you don't. You got an agenda.
Moors are men upright, independent and fearless. Dogmatized dirty Moors, tongues cut out left earless. Cause they never listen, dirty Moors, keep up your slander. Wu-Tang torture in your ass, hot hangers. Kidnapper, dirty Moor, torture him like Saw. 3D, 0.5 or 1 through 4. Or get it like 5 or 6 with a fez on jigsaw. Leather face in a turban, rip dirty Moor's lips off. Disrespecting the mother Raz Mariah Bay. Wrap him up like double crochet, the barbed wire way. Throw him off a bridge or feed him to the piranhas. Yellow journalists Moors spread nothing but propaganda. Idi Amin Bey, treat the temple like Uganda. Dirty Moors like foreigners, crush the dust like ganja. Not worthy of being Moors, we call them dirty Nehesus. Solomon Seal spell command 72 demons to get you.
This is what the temple guys actually said. That Canaanland is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger. Yo, it's ignorance, man. I mean, come on, you're talking about the same landmass. Canaanland is actually bigger than the landmass they know as the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they could just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion.
You might hear horse voices, see frog faces and who's for feet. Demons we run with, spit fire with gold wolf teeth. Keep playing, forget back seats, new Moors are an issue. Get Ginsu, maybe a dream visit from Vishnu. A nightmare to never end and always continue. Cold as an igloo, dealing with my trust issues. Through vigilance, active Moors are militants. SPLC dirty Moors, call that sovereign citizen. Lying for views, they notice all the empty pews. Benz need gas and fixing, but not enough dues. Pigpen Bays sell you out for peanuts, claiming that we nuts for teaching birthright street level, keeping it beat nuts.
To any members of the MSTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the MSTA. I got issues with
Keep it Kendrick Lamar, stay surrounded by feathers. Dirty's guilty of fraud if Drew Ali scrutinized their ledgers. Getting proclamations from Morocco, disrespect us. Corporate city only recognize people's court jesters. Hand in their back, Moorish puppets and minions. Never get the human rights recognition like Moors near Virginia. Commonwealth, for active Moors knowledge the Commonwealth. Dirties claim more, but really on the straw man health. Authenticating a birth certificate, that's not significant. Civil little more two status syndicates. In more face, watch them two more status Indians claiming Turtle Island are lying, so intricate.
long days and long nights. But this message needed to be heard.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quickies. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try? If the Olmec civilization was in the Americas from since around 3000 BCE, and in the book America BC by Barry Fell, he proved that Egyptians were in North America since around 3000 BCE, and the Libyans were in North America since around 2000 BCE, and the Phoenicians were in the Americas since around 1000 BCE. And in Unexpected Faces in Ancient America by Alexander von Wutnow, he showed ancient artifacts that proved that we were in the Americas from since around 1500 BCE. And all the other examples that we were here long before the so-called African slave trade. Why do most of our people in North America want to be victims of the so-called African slave trade when there is documented proof that we have been in the Americas for well over 5,000 years? Fact is, the vast majority of us were already in the Americas for thousands of years before the so-called African slave trade. So, you can either play the victim role or the Aboriginal and Indigenous role. Which one are you going to choose? Common sense was made before book sense.
So every treaty I done seen these niggas write with an Indian, they done broke. Everyone.
I gotta
But every treaty they done wait with the Moors, that shit is still in effect. And that shit is protecting me right now. And the way I know is because I'm out here in the field every day, in habit, going at these crackers, getting people. We just got a Moor out of jail for 10 years. He ain't have no paperwork, no nothing. They was trying to ramroad this Moor and lock him up, trying to say his Irish moss was heroin. This is how crazy these niggas are. And they was really going to do it. He was just affiliated with us, Moor. Just affiliated with. I used him as a witness in a document. Do you know the night before the actual hearing of the case, they threw everything out and said, regardless to what happens in court the next day, regardless, nothing is going to be recorded. He's not going to go to jail. And this whole proceeding will be sealed from this point on. It's called the Notice of Limine. Limine. Don't know Indian, don't know Aboriginal know about none of that shit.
But they teach that they came from somewhere else, right? That's what they teach. They only teach from that perspective, that these Moors invaded Spain, right, in 711 AD. Well, let's examine that. Were black people already in fucking Spain 710 AD? 700 AD? What about 600 AD? How about this? What about 100 BC? Were black people already inhabiting? Remember, we talked about this, the first inhabitant of a place as Aboriginal. We're in Spain, right? In Spain. We're going to Spain, right? We're going to fuck with y'all, man. Y'all fuck with us too much. We're going to fuck with y'all shit, right? So you're in Spain, right? Spain is 9 fucking miles from the coast of North Africa, okay? 9. People have been selling, coming back across the Mediterranean Sea for thousands of years, right? Documented, right? They had boats, trading, doing certain things, right? So the so-called Moor was already in Spain, but Hannibal was in Spain. He didn't invade from Carthagena. He invaded from Spain, okay?
The question of Ferdinand and Isabella's role in the unification of Spain is an important question not just for historians, but also for modern Spaniards. The unity of Spain today is under question because of calls for greater devolution in areas such as Catalonia and the Canary Islands, and in the north, in the Basque Country, there are even separatist movements, some of which have resorted to terrorism. So the question of the unity of Spain is very much a live issue. And if you ask most Spaniards, and particularly Spanish politicians, they will always say that Ferdinand and Isabella created the unity of Spain, and they'll even go further and say that Ferdinand and Isabella reunited Spain after a long historical interlude of regional and local autonomy. But the question historically of whether Ferdinand and Isabella really did unite Spain is a much more complicated issue. They were married in the northern city of Valladolid on the 19th of October, 1469. Isabella became Queen of Castile in 1474, and Ferdinand inherited Aragon a few years later in 1479. So they were rulers of 2 independent kingdoms. Castile was by far the larger in terms of population and landmass, and covered what we would think of today as central Spain, around Madrid, northern Spain, Galicia, and after the conquest of Granada in 1492, It went down right to the Mediterranean coast, and Granada was linked up with the older southern provinces of Andalusia.
So a lot, like I said, man, you know, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Okay, what's up, man? I got a couple minutes. Man, when I did the interview, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't trying to make it no more against Aboriginal thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a debate. I was just trying to, show that, people was talking about this before, Dan Calloway, before Ty Data, before we started trending. There was people talking about this years and years ago. And so, you guys the one who told me about him. You know what I'm saying? I can't say specifically you, but there was some Aboriginals that told me, like, yeah, Dookie Tales, like he's been talking about this for a while. Man, when I did the interview, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't trying to make it no more against Aboriginal thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a debate. I was just trying to, show that, people was talking about this before, Dan Calloway, before Ty Data, before we started trending. There was people talking about this years and years ago. And so, you guys the one who told me about him. You know what I'm saying? I can't say specifically you, but there was some Aboriginals that told me, like, yeah, Dookie Tales, like he's been talking about this for a while. Man, when I did the interview, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't trying to make it no more against Aboriginal thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a debate. I was just trying to, show that, people was talking about this before, Dan Calloway, before Ty Data, before we started trending. There was people talking about this years and years ago. And so, you guys the one who told me about him. You know what I'm saying? I can't say specifically you, but there was some Aboriginals that told me, like, yeah, Dookie Tales, like he's been talking about this for a while. Man, when I did the interview, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't trying to make it no more against Aboriginal thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a debate. I was just trying to, show that, people was talking about this before, Dan Calloway, before Ty Data, before we started trending. There was people talking about this years and years ago. And so, you guys the one who told me about him. You know what I'm saying? I can't say specifically you, but there was some Aboriginals that told me, like, yeah, Dookie Tales, like he's been talking about this for a while. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't, so it's not really supposed to be a, Aboriginal versus the Moors, and you know what I'm saying? I think it's getting,
it's still not that. It's still not that. At the end of the day, right? He said Aboriginal means something that it doesn't. That it does not mean that. And we can post and read the etymology again. I think majority of the people that listen in will be like, yo, bro, like we already know this. Most people don't know what Aboriginal means. Aboriginal means, they think it means Australian. So this is what the problem is. The problem is that they don't understand that the first inhabitants of any land would be Aborigines.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what Drew Ali started dropping it. Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth and take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like broken dam waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to the heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting with King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died some Palemore blues. Prophet saved him his money before the floor fell through, and that's true. Even Even though I don't have proof, cell memory tells me don't fall for spooks. Drop mental nukes, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like Big B. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5-point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty moss took to throw off the balance of the grand treasury books. Getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers. Robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping it.
I don't know. This is how I feel about it. But you know, that's what I want to talk about. I you know what I'm saying, I didn't really want to get into no history because I'm not a history person. I wanted to take it to the future and talk about the future, a little bit about the past of the, you know, how he came into the knowledge, and you know.
Yeah, but everybody's master teacher was their parents, their grandparents and stuff, right? So those will be our first master teachers.
Please.
But see, I wasn't talking about like a master teacher. I was talking about more like, you know what I'm saying?
But it goes back to that though. Like I first heard this in 1978. Okay.
Oh, Chief Holiday, you just started something. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but you just started something.
What?
Man, there's somebody going in on you right now.
Oh, listen, niggas go in all the time. That's probably root word.
Just leave it alone, man. He got every right, man. You just totally just.
I'm not. Hey, man, I actually like root word. I don't know why he be making videos talk about we fake and all this other thing. He's so bipolar. I thought I was the Don Dada. So yeah, man. Listen, I don't worry about stuff like that, bro. Like if you trump tight, right? Your game tight. It's like Jordan. Like Jordan ain't worried about like what the next man was saying. Nigga, I'm the Michael Jordan of this shit.
Just last year, another basketball legend, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, said he felt Jordan chose, quote, commerce over conscience, unquote.
And then, now I understand, I kind of expected him to say no. So I wasn't mad if he said no. But the way he said it, he said, oh, hell nah, man. I ain't taking no pictures of no niggas. And he said it like that. And I was like, I kind of got stunned for a second because I was like, wait a second, I don't think he heard. I turned back and my boys were just looking at me like, damn.
Period.
It wasn't supposed to be, you know, a disrespectful thing. It's just supposed to show that, you know, we've been here for a while. Like people been talking about this for a while. You know what I'm saying? Now that we're trending, you know, and a lot of the trending got to do with Dane Calloway because he make dope videos. And so, but people they're trying to paint a narrative that, you know, we watched his videos and we just, you know, we all just jumped on the bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? That's what the narrative people are trying to paint. So
right, but those people are haters though. Like here's the thing, like nobody is talking about none of these niggas' paradigms and nothing that these niggas is teaching.
Please.
Think about it. Nothing. And nobody was teaching this. Nobody was teaching slavery was fake. Nobody was doing this, bro. Nobody was calling us aborigines.
Please.
We picked up the fucking baton and ran with this, bro. So when niggas be saying this, bro,
right,
like,
no,
you ain't did shit. So let's be clear. Nah, it ain't no next step. Ain't no next step. It's an origin story. That ain't no fucking origin story. I'm sorry.
What's not?
If we just started talking about some Dr. Yalfa Bey, I'd have been like, yo, there we go.
We're Moors in as much as when you look in the modern day dictionaries, the definition of Moor is any dark complexioned person. I am a dark complexioned person, so therefore it would apply. Now this is my position, but you still have it. I still have a charter for a Moorish Science Temple. I'm a Grand Sheikah, so I don't claim all of that, but I mean I can run a charter anytime run a temple anytime I want to, unless you have enough oversight to know that the word Morocco means the farthest, most extreme west.
Right.
And on today's modern day maps, America is the farthest, most extreme west.
How, when we say, okay, Morocco is the most farthest west, that's here. Okay, great. What parts of here were attributed specifically or were the dominions of that? Like if we want to trace where the British were, we can go right to Jamestown. When we want to go to where the French were, we can go right to Louisiana. When we want to go to the Moroccans were, okay, you see what I'm saying? Like where exactly are we going to say, okay, this was a colony or whatever dominion of that?
Well, when you're saying Moroccans, if you're talking about Maricanos, then it was all of ours. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a lot about that Sultan of Morocco business. I do know that the Treaty of the Barbary, or the Peace and Friendship Treaty, was supposed to have been signed on the Delaware River, contrary to popular belief, which is really all of the Americas from Canada and Alaska all the way down through the United States and Mexico and Brazil, Belize, Peru, Hawaii, Haiti, Jamaica, the Virgin Islands, Cuba, all of this stuff
everything
is
over
the Americas. All of it.
That's right.
Is Al-Americanos, or copper-colored people that were found here. They were different races. That's why they said copper-colored races. More than one, plural.
Well, see,
I defer to her. I'm not talking about nobody else. How about that?
We're Moors in as much as when you look in the modern-day dictionaries, the definition of Moor is any dark complexion person. I am a dark complexion person, so therefore it would apply. Now, this is my position, but you still have it. I still have a charter for a Moorish Science Temple. I'm a Grand Sheikist. I don't claim all of that, but I mean, I can run a charter anytime run a temple anytime I want to, unless you have enough oversight to know that the word Morocco means the farthest, most extreme west.
Right.
And on today's modern-day maps, America is the farthest, most extreme west.
How, when we say, okay, Morocco is the most farthest west, that's here. Okay, great. What parts of here were attributed specifically or were the dominions of that? Like if we want to trace where the British were, we can go right to Jamestown. When we want to go to where the French were, we can go right to Louisiana. When we want to go to the Moroccans were, okay, you see what I'm saying? Like where exactly are we going to say, okay, this was a colony or whatever dominion of that?
Well, when you're saying Moroccans, if you're talking about Maricanos, then it was all of ours. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a lot about that Sultan of Morocco business. I do know that the Treaty of the Barbary, or the Peace and Friendship Treaty, was supposed to have been signed on the Delaware River, contrary to popular belief.
So niggas be saying certain things, whatever. I'm not trying to hear that. You didn't teach me shit. My grandmother taught me this in 77, 78. Where was you at?
No, see, it's not about what
yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is. If anybody feeling the way about what I'm saying, okay, well then the same way you should feel the way about what anybody else was saying. If you feel the way about the shit I'm saying out my mouth, I stuck to the script. Aboriginal does not mean what he said. Period.
I'm Aboriginal, but I don't steal.
I'm Aboriginal, but I'm educated.
I'm Aboriginal, but I don't use drugs.
But I don't live in a hut.
But I'm not an Abo.
But I am not ignorant of other cultures.
But I do not drink.
But I'm not dark-skinned.
And I'm not on any welfare benefits.
But I'm not dumb.
But I'm not scary.
But I'm not violent towards women.
But I'm not an angry black woman.
But I'm not a bung.
But I'm not in prison.
But I'm not a criminal.
But I'm not good at sport.
I didn't receive free education.
But I'm not driving around in a free car.
But I don't get everything for free.
I work hard for it.
I'm Aboriginal and I finished high school and I went on to university.
And I'm currently at uni studying my second degree in science.
And I have 2 university degrees.
And I'm a journalist.
And I have a degree in Bachelor of Nursing.
And I have succeeded in your society.
And I'm a neurology nurse.
I have retained my culture.
And I'm a proud nerd of Buffy.
And I performed for Grace Jones.
And I respect all colours and races.
And I want justice for all peoples in this country.
And I love dogs and pugs and French bulldogs.
And I am a very humane person.
And my family accept me and my husband.
And I'm proud to be a strong Aboriginal woman because I come from a line of strong Aboriginal women who are not afraid to stand up
I'm Aboriginal and I'm very proud we've survived everything we've been subjected to.
And I'm a proud Aboriginal woman.
I'm proud to be a part of one of the most beautiful cultures in the world.
And I'm proud that we're the oldest living culture on this planet.
I'm Aboriginal and I love my culture.
My culture is alive everywhere I go.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
And I would not have it any other way.
But I'm saying though, like, listen, I've always said this. Any information I've ever put out, debunk it. I could debunk his information. And then he could debunk what the fuck. He said that Aboriginal, he attacked the Aboriginal paradigm, which was no call for, bro. Like we're not even stuck on these terms. Like we don't care about that. We're not calling ourselves a race of people because we're saying we Aboriginals. It's only a descriptive term of the first people. That's it. So we had to dumb it down to first Americans, bro. So we want to be Americans. We don't want to be nothing else but Americans. I need that to be the conversation. We don't want to be. We don't want to be called Black Americans, Green Americans, Moorish Americans, Hebrew Americans. We want to be Americans, first Americans, right? That's what Aboriginals was saying, that we're the first Americans.
Nothing you say will ever change the fact that America is not a country. You know what? I'll just finish with a map here. And to those of you out there who want to leave a nasty, violent, screaming with rage comment about my wisdom or the lack of yours, be my guest.
That paradigm is changing the game. Not calling yourself a Moorish American, right, is not changing the game. Sorry.
So every treaty I done seen these niggas write with an Indian, they done broke. Everyone.
I gotta
But every treaty they done weighed with the Moors, that shit is still in effect. And that shit is protecting me right now. And the way I know is because I'm out here in the field every day, in habit, going at these crackers, getting people. We just got a Moor out of jail for 10 years. He ain't have no paperwork, no nothing. They was trying to ramroad this Moor and lock him up, trying to say his Irish moss was heroin. This is how crazy these niggas are. And they was really going to do it. He was just affiliated with us, Moor. Just affiliated with. I used him as a witness in a document. Do you know the night before the actual hearing of the case, they threw everything out and said regardless to what happens in court the next day, regardless, nothing is going to be recorded. He's not going to go to jail, and this whole proceeding will be sealed from this point on. It's called the Notice of Limine, Limine. Don't know Indian, don't know Aboriginal know about none of that shit.
Moorish Express Moving and Delivery offers white glove, affordable service. Family owned and operated since 1966, we handle residential, commercial, and last-minute moves. We offer pickup and delivery service of any item and free, no-obligation estimates. Plus, we're fully insured and a member of the New Jersey Movers Association. References are available. Call Moorish Express Moving and Delivery today at 732-982-4910.
Listen up! Y'all don't understand. This land that you stand on, that you think is America, this is actually Africa. The dear Mississippi that you love, that you know of, that's the Nile River. This is our land. You are Aboriginal Indigenous American. You are a Moorish American. So where is their green card? Where is their green card? Huh? Huh? They need weapons. We don't need no weapons. Huh? Huh? Stop calling us black. We're not African American. We're Moorish American.
Hundreds of years later, they would change things, change the definitions of things, change the meaning of things. That's why you study etymology, right? Now, here's the thing. We're not, and when we came up with first Americans, right, it was because niggas was so fucking slow, right? That's the only word I could use, slow, right? First, Duke, are you opposed to being called the first American? No, you're not, because you wear feathers, things of that nature, whatever. So you understand the whole terminology or whatever. So you understand the original man of this land would be a Negro, according to science, according to math, according to logic, not according to emotions being from Africa, right? So I also heard the brother say that he was African descent. That goes along with the theory of evolution in the out of Africa hypotheses. I don't understand what more needs to be said. Anybody that teaches from that perspective teaches from Behringer, right? Teaches from the theory of evolution, teaches from the out of Africa hypotheses. You, my friend, are pseudo, and you're working off of old information. Your floppy disk needs to be upgraded, okay? Your shit needs to be upgraded. You're working off of beta. So when niggas be talking about they've been doing this thing for a long time, right? Before anybody else was doing it, right? You sound like a disgruntled ass old nigga.
But see, like I said, youth fosters rebellion. Age, seniority fosters experience and wisdom. And what I'm saying is these brothers is out here really just trying to get likes. They really just want people to pay attention to them. And I'm not even talking about one person in particular, because, these niggas sensitive. So they be like, oh, Duke trying to this one. Like, the thing is, I don't even care. Like, I'm at the stage in my life where it's like, if you believe what these dudes are saying with no basis of any type of factual rational nationality. If you're going to follow this dude, because I got some of the books these niggas be talking about, and in some of these same books, they talking about the Moors, but they overlooking that paragraph, see what I'm saying? And then going to the other one. But I got the book, money, so I know what you're leaving out. Therefore, you 10%. Therefore, you work with them people. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, you're my enemy. I don't give a fuck how black you are, how much feathers you're wearing, how many feathers, turbans you wearing. You an enemy if you concealing the truth. It's one thing if you don't know or you was mistaken. But I don't think it's that deep because you know what? The internet is out here. I be knowing these niggas be watching my stuff. Just based on some of the stuff they say, I know they watch me. And how could they not? I've been out here doing this before the internet. So because I'm not out here every day banging on my chest, hey, look at me. Hey, I've been here all these years doing that. No. The purpose is the work. Mm-hmm. The work is to uplift fallen humanity.
We don't want to be socialized away from being American. Like the Moorish paradigm is blackish American. If you call yourself Moorish, you're saying you're blackish. Okay? Oh, I'm not about to play with y'all. I'm not about to play this game. That's slow, okay? Slow. This is the whole concept. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, right. Oh, y'all understand what I'm saying? This is the whole concept. Come on, y'all. Like some things, like why would we even be having any conversations about terminologies and things like that, whatever, right? We don't have to have those. We could keep. It's like what Malcolm say: leave your religion at the door. Leave your motherfucking giving names, the names that somebody else gave you. Leave them motherfucking names at the door, because you guys let those names that somebody else gave you separate you from your people.
Superimposed on the United States map. So why would you do that?
All right. Well, one, the landmass that you see here is not the United States map. It's not the United States. This is part of Morocco. The name America does not come from the name America Vespucci. The name America has a much ancient origin. The author and scholar, European author and scholar, Barry Fell, who is professor emeritus at Yale University, who wrote America BC, states that the name America has a much ancient origin from the Libyan word madru, meaning land across the sea. So the name America referring to land, all right, and not of Italian origin. So the name America, what I'm saying is Morocco, America is Morocco. The name America linguistically is derived from the name Morocco. And the Morocco, America, extends from what they call Canada, Mexico, Central America, and all of South America and the adjoining islands. That is Morocco/America. All right, so this is just a portion of America. All right, not all of America.
Wow.
The Europeans who occupy our Moorish land will geographically limit the word America geographically to this land, only this portion of landmass. Where the name America applies to what they call Canada, Mexico, Central America, and South America, and the islands.
Oh.
The American states are Mexico, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Guyana, Grenada, Peru, Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, Dominica, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Dominican Republic, Suriname, Guyana, Colombia, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Barbados, Jamaica are the American states. They're in an organization called the Organization of American States, and they are those American states and republics that I mentioned are members of the Organization of American States. Pennsylvania is not a member of the Organization of American States. Why? Because it's not an American state. New Jersey, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, South Dakota, North Dakota are not members of the Organization of American States. Why? Because they're not American states. They are European colonies that are posing as American states, but not in fact American states.
Oh, that's
So what we dealing with? We're dealing with cognitive dissonance at an all-time high. But like I said, I like to talk. I like to tell the truth. We don't want to talk about nothing else. Let's just talk about the truth, right? Aboriginal, regardless if you try to break the word up like they broke it in half, Aborigine, right? Like you want to do the same. You want to do the same things that they have done throughout history, right? You want to go with the same talking points, the same structure that they came up with to change shit. Like, I don't understand why y'all don't get that. Like, how is this a thing? How you don't understand that?
See, that's the difference between a leader or a true representation or archetype of progression other than a bunch of niggas on the internet. Look, what's Aboriginal people flag? What's Aboriginal people creed? What's Aboriginal people dominions? What's Aboriginal people religion? What's Aboriginal people dialect? What's Aboriginal people creed? What's Aboriginal people's expressed trust? They don't know. They don't know because there's no such thing as Aboriginal people. Then again, that's a designation. Even the Aborigines in Australia have individual names for their clans. You understand? They're the only ones really on the planet that can use the term Aboriginal nation because they got a passport for it. But again, that's not the name of the country. They don't call the country Aborigine, do they? No, it's still called Australia. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all that to say, in order for you to be that, you have to understand the difference and the connection between your clan and your empire. There's basic books. Like when I was coming out in the game, you would be hard-pressed to find any books on Moors. So in this new era, I noticed that with all of this present information, with all of this stuff that we think, that these blacks, these Negroes would still go out of their way to be anything but Moors. It lets me know who they really work for. And who they work for is their master. And their master is the one that's out here telling them shit that's not true. Now, that master can take the form of whatever government liaison handler they got. It can take the form of whatever Freemason in a family that gave them this fake knowledge or gave them this knowledge or whatever, but didn't give them the whole thing. Whatever it is, whatever agreement, whatever begrudging issue they have. Like, I don't deny that I may have African descent, okay? But I don't have African nativity because I was not born in the continent of what we call Africa. But because I know history, and I know a language other than English, I know that the term Africa is not even an African word. It's a Latin word. And the only people that spoke Latin at that time were the Moors, the Carthaginian, Phoenician Moors, who came over here, back over here in the 3rd century BCE, and re-annexed this thing back to the old world, because this was the first time it had been re-annexed back since the flood. We were here when the whole thing was together. And when that whole thing was together, there was no Indians, okay? There was no white people. There was no none of that. They want us to believe the history based on what they say it is. Or they want us to believe that we are everything other than what we know we are.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, y'all. Like I don't like to play games with it. You know, I think Ty Data asked your brother, you know, about more being a descriptive term, right? You know, because you know he's gonna go with the Moabite thing, and you know, and that's not where it comes from. When we read the etymology and the definitions of Moor, it doesn't come from that. So you have a whole people that they have created and separated, right, by a descriptive term. Oh, y'all maroons, right? Remember maroons? So y'all don't think maroon and Moor like that don't go like Moreno, maroons? Y'all don't see the correlation? A mare, that Moor does not come from North Africa. Okay, I'm gonna say this again. Moor is Latin. Okay, it's a derivative. Any variations of it will be a derivative of Latin. Okay, so whenever you're talking about it, you're talking about a descriptive term of dark people, period, that they found here in America. Period. When you're talking to Aborigines, you're just talking about the dark races of people that they found when they came to America. That were first. That's irrefutable evidence. We're not about to play with y'all. Y'all play too much. Y'all see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Y'all play too much. You can't prove nothing that you say, right? So here's the thing, right? Moor is black. Sorry. Black or Moor, black or black. They're black or Moors, right? So yes, they found Moors and they came here because that's what the descriptive term of the British or whatever, that's the Dutch, that's what they've called them, right? This is Dutch terminology, right? I don't understand why people don't understand that, right? So here's the thing, right? Now, shout out to Willie D, right? I just seen Willie D earlier, and he was laughing about Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Getting drop kicked. I guess he was somewhere in South Africa somewhere, and some brother over there double drop kicked him, right, with 2 feet. They ran up on him and drop kicked him. Now, the thing is, Arnold didn't go down. You know, he's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't go down, but he definitely got his ass drop kicked, right? Very funny. It's entertaining. Just within the 7, he said he's not gonna press charges, which is cool. You know, that's honorable, right? Hey, somebody punch you, I ain't gonna press charges. I'm gonna whoop your ass, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's the from that perspective, right? But here's the thing, right? When I hear Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? I'm like, wait a minute. What is that? What's going on? Schwartz is black. Nigger is black, right? So Arnold, black and black. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? So does that make Arnold Schwarzenegger an Aborigine because he has a name Schwartz and black and black? Schwarzenegger is black.
Please. If you look up the word black, first you put a time in it, and then you go to ME, and then you look at Middle English, and that means what? You're dealing with 1100s, 15s in that area? So already the scholar knows that black is not ancient. It doesn't even go past the 1100s. So when they're talking about the ancient black gods of Egypt, scholars know they're lying. But believers don't know better because they got the mentalities of boys and girls. You know, Pharaoh was black. Jesus was black. This is what a scholar knows. So you go to the Middle English, right, and you put a date on it. Then it traces to OHG. OHG is Old High German, and it means pale. See why they laugh at these people? It comes from the Paleolithic man. Negro Yavera Arebo, the animal used in the experiment that created what you call the caveman or Paleolith. And if you don't believe it, go into Oxford Dictionary, look up hybrid, then go look up troglodyte nigger, and then look up chimpanzee, and it'll give you history. And you ain't a caveman. And you're not Paleolith. Therefore, you're not black. The European is black man.
If you call yourself a Moorish American, you're an immigrant. Sorry. Sorry. There's no other way around that. No, you're an immigrant. If you're a Moorish American, you're an immigrant. According to the Peace and Friendship Treaty. Remember that treaty? Right? That treaty wasn't for the indigenous people. That treaty was for the Berbers that was coming over here working against our interests. Period.
So every treaty I done seen these niggas write with an Indian, they done broke.
Period. Now, I don't, another question I would have had for the brother, I'm like, yo, are you claiming any connection to the Knights of Malta? That's a valid question. Are you a hired assassin like the Knights of Malta? If you guys don't know who the Knights of Malta are, they were the Moors, right? With the tassels, the fez, the hats that went into the Congo and helped Leopold. There's no plan about this. This is historical, right? This is historical. Are you guys attached to them?
Please.
I really need to know, oh no, those are different ones. Okay, are you attached to Shriners, right? Because these are Masons. So it was interesting, it was like, yo, these are Masons and stuff like that. I'm like, Masons? Wait a minute. The whole tassel, the whole hat, that's Masonic, bro.
So above the four quote unquote white men, you have the question, who are these imposters?
Yes.
Yeah, right there.
Absolutely. You see here, who are these imposters? These are these three here, 1, 2, 3, are past grand monarchs. You have the mystic order of the mystic order of the veiled prophet of the enchanted realm, established in Hamilton, New York, in 1850. So these are, and one of the temples named Muslim. Another temple that they use they use Moorish names for the names of their temples. Il Bay. Another Grand Mark temple is the name Islam. And then this one is a past and pure potentate. That's the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine, now called Shriners International. And the name of the temple he belonged to is Morocco. So look at the names that they're using. And what are they wearing? The Moorish fez that they falsely call the Shriners fez or the Grand Monarch fez. But this is the Moorish fez. So they've actually traded places with us. So I have written above, who are these imposters? Because they are indeed imposters. They are not the founders of the government. The founders of the government are currently classified, millions are currently classified as black, Negro, colored, Latino, Spanish, Puerto Rican, West Indian. They are the founders of this government. All right, be very clear. You have the Moorish Supreme Court building, the Moorish Capitol building, and the Moorish White House. On the back of the one note, we want to take out a one note. What they falsely call which is misrepresented as a $1 bill or a dollar, but this is a one note. You have the pyramid side and the eagle side. right above, right below right below the pyramid, you see the phrase, the Great Seal. The Great Seal. And the purpose of the phrase of the United States. So this here is the Great Seal of the government. Donald Trump is currently sitting in the seat of the Moorish Grand Vizier. The Grand Vizier is at the seat that Donald Trump sits in is a Moorish seat. The office he holds is a Moorish office. He himself is a United States representative, but the seat he sits in and the office he holds is a Moorish office, as this is the Moorish government. They traded places with us. In the movie, traded places with, we have Eddie Murphy. They made a bet in the bathroom. And the bet was with what? A one note. And looks appears on the one note. They actually traded places with us. So they're now wearing our Moorish fezzes and sitting in our seats of government. The United States is an occupying power that is functioning the government, the Moorish government, in a trusteeship capacity.
Okay. To attack just the terminology Aboriginal when you know it just means the first inhabitant, right, of a land, right? But if you just say original, that's too vague. That's not, oh, we the original. We the original what? We the first inhabitants of this land. That means Aboriginal. That doesn't, and y'all see, so wait, oh, okay, so what we're saying is we're gonna trust the Duke over Malcolm X. Oh, we're gonna trust the Duke over what the etymology book said, right? But instead, right, we can't trust somebody that's taking bits and pieces and then giving us his interpretation of it. That's the same thing that the white boy is doing. Period. I don't care what nobody's saying. Like, you can be mad about it, but I don't give a fuck. What you mad about? You mad about the truth? We're not Moors.
Please.
We're gonna say it again. Now, if you want to say we're descriptive terms or more, then we can get to that or whatever. But now you start getting into Islam, you start getting into the invaders who came here, who have a treaty with this government, right? Y'all still got a treaty with this government.
I do know that the Treaty of the Barbary, or the Peace and Friendship Treaty, was supposed to be signed on the Delaware River, contrary to popular belief.
Right.
Does that treaty, I said this before, is that treaty binding to the Duke?
So every treaty I done seen these niggas write with an Indian, they done broke.
Or Lord Alba, or Tashrik Bay.
You know, so I went out on Route 73. I took off from work, went out on Route 73. And when I looked at the literature, you know, I saw, for what I saw on the Prophet, you know, I saw nationhood, if you understand. So I went out there, Route 73, where they had buses, and I was getting a used bus, really good shape, you know, out there where they sell buses. And I got them to bring the bus down from like 15,000, you know, on a wholesale basis to like $5,000, stuff like this, with no taxes. Because I understand nationality. I mean, I'm not a dummy, you know. And so, so I brought the papers back. Then I went to see Bernie Hammond now Bernie Hammond is European. He was like a head of the houses and stuff in the Camden area, in Camden County. And I went down there, they were selling shells, you know, like tore down shells around Cooper Hospital for like $100,000, $120,000. I mean, these places was falling down, and just for the shells cost $20,000. And the developers were coming in from New York and from around. So I went in there and I went up on the 13th floor and went in the room, had my fez on, because I had just came in the temple. I was only in the temple about 6 months at that time. And I wanted to get some properties for the temples, because we had a few contractors in there, and my plan was we'd fix the buildings up, you know, and we would ourselves have people paying for it, and it would go back to the temple. They wouldn't have mortgages, they would just pay what they could, and the women who were renting or single moms and stuff like that, they would have a place, you know, because we got all these skills here. I got 13 buildings, and I got a building on 6th and Spruce, a 3-story, another building for the temple and the parking lot, and I got all of it for $2,200. He told me, what you want? Yes. He closed the door. He gave me 2 books. And remember, these shells were selling for 100 grand, and the cheapest ones were like 80,000, right? I got them all for 2,200.
Does that treaty include y'all? Are you citizens of Morocco?
Because you don't want it. It's still your birthright. Believe me, it's people around the world gladly ready to take it. You trying to leave, and they trying to get here. To the North Gate. I want to read to you in law so that you will understand why it's important for you to have the nationality and identification card. Because I know people have heard it, but they don't necessarily take it serious, mainly because many Moors haven't explained it to them properly so they can appreciate what the Prophet done and why he did it. Identity and identification. In the law of evidence, sameness, the fact that a subject, a person, or a thing before the court is the same as it is represented, claimed, or charged to be. If you fail in that, you fail the law of evidence and identity, and your status automatically goes into black, the lowest rank in society, which is not an identity, it's a rank, where no rights apply. That status in civilization is called civiliter mortuus, which means dead in the eyes of the law. So let's go to the law and let you see what civil rights leaders knew and ain't been telling these people while they marching them all around the place talking about they got some rights, when the right is in your birthright, which is in your nationality, which establishes your status in society and your capacity to exercise rights unalienable for you to even know that they even existed. So let's go to civiliter mortuus. I'm sure that some of you saw some of the pictures, and that's not all. We got tons more. We just brought some to show you, to prove to you that the world is aware of your Elam Bay. And the world is aware that you're really Muslims, your forefathers were. And Muslim ain't somebody, doing some rocket ship stuff like this. It ain't because you walk around circles and bang your heel. Oh, that's ritual. That ain't really it. You've been played. Noble Raleigh said, before I brought you your name and your nationality and the knowledge of your birthright, nobody was talking to you. Nobody was telling you anything. Everybody was living off your virtues. And now that he brought your nationality and your birthright back and gave it to you, explained it to you, set up a foundation, an institution by which that information can be dispensed, now everybody wants to tell you what Islam is, what Islam is not. He said, they didn't tell you anything before. Don't let them tell you anything now.
That's way better. So, okay, what I'm doing with my movement is gathering and uniting my community in Chicago first. I'm Elijah. My name is Elijah. I'm known as Elijah, but as you know, we all go by several names. So like I said, I greet y'all with peace, and I am a Moorish American. And what comes with that is our mission and a divine mission that the prophet brought us. I'm sure y'all read about us. If y'all talking about us and y'all know so much about us, I'm sure, you did your research. Other than that, me personally, I took the leadership role in my community of the Woodlawn community in Chicago. And I decided to lead from my origins first, and people and folks is mine. I'm sure y'all know what that is. I don't have to over explain that. So we not a gangbanging organization or a criminal organization. We are, tied with what Drew Ali brought. So if anybody go against that, they a liar. Don't let them tell you nothing else. So basically, my business is about uplifting my community, non for profit. I ain't really for profit. I ain't selling no, paraphernalia, no regalia, nothing. It's about, getting my community, prepared for whatever's to come, in the future. Now, what I just want to address, about the Moorish Americans, because other than that, I wouldn't be on your videos, you know, because it's good to know that y'all are Aborigines and Indigenes and waking up. That is cool. I don't want to disrupt it. But as for the Moorish Americans, what Noble Drew Ali brought us, you know, you cannot go against it, tear it up, or none of that. And we can save y'all from busting y'all heads because we have the fact. What we are saying is, brothers and sisters, is that the Moors erected civilization in America. You know, I don't know how to say it plainer than that. If you don't know what civilization is, you need to look it up. And what I mean by that, we claiming the Teos Pueblos culture in New Mexico and Four Corners region, the cliff dwellings, Arizona, Sierra Nevada, we claiming all the mounds from Pyramax Mound in Wisconsin down to Okomogi Mound in Georgia. We claiming Florida. We claiming all of the architecture, the civilization, the plumbing, the electricity. We claiming aviation, railroads. So the Aboriginals is claiming to be nomads walking around. You feel me? They walking around in circles. We don't know what they contributed to society. But us Moors is saying we erected civilization and we are old. We are also saying that we was a part of the Civil War. The Civil War was fought over us. The Reconstruction period was about, you know, renaming and defacing what we left behind. So we don't know what the Aboriginals was talking about. But when we talking about America and the forefathers and the people who built it, we saying it was the Moors.
See what I'm saying? Because they don't read real stories. They don't read real law about how to actually stand on your square and do this. You can go and talk all you want with these crackers about whatever you want. But if you're going in an inferior title, you're going to get an inferior position. And that's what they're doing. They're calling themselves slaves. They're calling themselves aboriginals. They're calling themselves natives. They're calling themselves indigenous. None of those, there's no place called indigenous land. There's no place in the world called Autochthon world or Autochthon land. There's no place called black land. There's no place called Negro land. You know what I'm saying? You might as well say you come from Candyland. You don't even have the right to have your own hair. Okay? You don't have anything. You do what we say because you agreed to it when you decided to come into this thing through the 14th Amendment, not knowing that you was already in the thing, in this whole thing from before the 14th Amendment, going back to the preamble to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Articles of Association, Articles of Confederation, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787, the Organic Constitution of 1787, the Judiciary Act of 1789. All of these things apply to you, so long as you're not somebody's property. But these niggas say, okay, well, I ain't nobody's property. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be an Indian. What? What? You just taking off one yoke and putting on another. You understand? The only free people on the planet, believe it or not, are Moorish Americans or Moors. You know why? Because everybody on the planet is living off our inheritance since 1492. And we can prove it, and they've already acknowledged it. They've already acknowledged it. You know that the legislature of Georgia put out House Resolution 1203 that says that the Moors and the Moorish Americans are the mothers and fathers of humanity? And that's what they were then, all those centuries ago. They are that today? But then they're going to say that we sovereign citizens or we don't have no legal standing law. Which one is it? Because it ain't just that one.
Hey, brother,
there's over 40 plus, almost 50 plus in every state. Almost every state doesn't acknowledge that.
Hey,
but
brother,
you wouldn't even know. But the thing is, the black people in the state don't even know.
Somebody got a question real quick. Thanks for the donations. Reginald Green and Serious Killmonger, man, y'all been putting some serious time in. We appreciate it. He said, what's the difference between a Moor, which is a M-U-U-R, and a Moor from M-O-O-R?
M-O-O-R Moors are Moors who had their history documented by people from what we used to call Albine, what we today would call England. M-A-U-R is somebody that's a Moor coming back now prior to the establishment of the UK, going back now to the Roman/Carthaginian phase. M-U-U-R Moor is somebody who had themselves as Moors written down or documented by somebody that was over here from the Spanish or the so-called Louisiana territories or whatever. M-O-H-R Moor is somebody who was a Moor who had their history of themselves or the word Moor written down by somebody that was in Norwegia or whatever. M-O-O-R-E Moor, again, is now somebody that's either connected to the Austrian, Hungarian / British throne through the Hanoverian dynasty. So it's just all how you write it, but a rose by any other name smells just as sweet. The idea, though, is that to be a Moor, right, is taking you back into a nomenclature or a identity that is outside of this temporal timeline. That's why they don't want you dealing with it.
We are the Moors, historically.
Well, these were African, Arab, Asian values. The only section of Europe that had a high value system during the Dark Ages were those on the Iberian Peninsula in the Spanish, Portuguese area, southern France. And that high state of culture existed there because Africans, known as Moors, had come there and brought it there. So,
Woogie, play that shit.
Jello Beats, holla at 'em.
NBPP, ain't BPP. I'm telling y'all, no win with a lawyer, so don't ask me. I know y'all are Moors, just ask General Khalid. The General.
Islam, I'm a Moor, and got sense enough to know I'm a Moor. And ain't gonna never argue with you that I'm not a Moor.
The general said he's a Moor. NBPP won't take heed. Your greed for his name fame got you skunk drunk. You never pulled the trigger, just pose with the shotguns pumped, waiting and hating, showing no love, but you're showing bacon. Licenses for ID at the police station. On top of that, no rights reserved on the contract. Dirty Moors finesse masters use old leaders to con cats. Show their picture but won't use their best quotes, only use the ones to bring in fiat notes from scapegoats. Kwame Toure's wife even wore a fez at their wedding. A snicker at SNCC and all black organizations begging, walking with limbs peg-legging. These conscious pirates, fake freedom warners, getting no ratings when I'm irate. Conscious, 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 conscious. Sarnetta sat down with Taj Bey one-on-one. Suit and Yeti is my target, Aleem Bey is my gun. All I do is crush a lot truth. My big pun and Fat Joe falling on you 50 feet below. Mike Fatso, Mark conscious coons, frauds up with my firing squad. Tugging at emotions hard like sleeping, pulling a quad. Larry's no professor, show me some doctorate degrees, son. We'll listen to I'm African crap until I see one. I'm not asking for much, cause I give more than I ask for. Moorish MC, lay it down hot like asphalt. I won't cool though, some call me Fool Joe. Trying to get under my skin, you must be a Negro. Old foe gets skull slow, lashed with the tongue strap. Conscious coons wanna be Gay-Z and make a comeback. Not on my watch, flow till time stops. Left and shot cause the rhyme doc. Open up your mind blocks. Conscious, 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 conscious.
Other one,
Galatians.
Malicious.
Oh, Galatians.
Galatians. We have them there. Now, these are church documents. But remember, when there came a time in 1506, after we lost power in Spain, the Africans ruled Spain from 711. We were calling ourselves Moors. M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S. From 711 until 1485, 774 years, when we built and brought into Europe the university system, building the University of Salamanca, S-A-L-A-M-A-N-C-A in Spain, a copy of the university